Hi, my name is Braden Allen.
My name is Mikkel. I'm from Brigham City. I'm a medical social worker,
I am a data analyst for American Express.
and I love pretty much anything outside, especially hiking.
I enjoy being outdoors, hiking, backpacking, swimming, and especially barbecue.
So Braden and I met on a dating app, and he'll probably say we met online.
Well, Mikkel would like me to say that we met on an app, but to tease her, I say that we met online.
I hate saying we met online because I still feel like there's this stereotype about online dating. And we talked for weeks actually before we met because we were both so busy it just wasn't working out to meet in person. We finally met, and we actually met on the morning of my birthday because it just worked out that was when I finally had this gap of time in the morning. So we ended up meeting for brunch.
And we met at a restaurant called Eggs in the City for brunch. What she didn't tell me about this day, though, is that it was also her birthday.
I did not tell him it was my birthday because that would have made me sound like a loser that had no plans for my birthday, so I got this guy from a dating app to take me out.
My first impressions of Mikkel were that she was very well put together. She was very beautiful.
First impression of Braden was just that he was a really good, normal person. It just felt so nice to meet someone who had it all together, was doing good things with his life, and he was such a good conversationalist. And that was something that we shared, was the ability to really just dive into conversation, and it just flowed so naturally.
She was funny, she was pleasant to be around, and especially on a first date when you're mostly just trying to survive and get through, it was a lot of fun, and I really wanted to see her again.
I do remember leaving the first date thinking yeah, this is someone I could be interested in. But it really wasn't until 3 or 4 dates later that it kind of naturally progressed into a relationship, and I knew he was the guy that I wanted to be with and that I was okay to stop dating everyone else.
Our first kiss happened on the first date that she planned.
We went on a date to find this headstone in the Salt Lake Cemetery. It has 666 written on it, and we thought it would be creepy and fun to find in the dark. So yeah, we went at night to the cemetery, never found the headstone.
It was supposed to be haunted, so we got hot chocolate and we went and looked for the gravestone. We never found it.
I decided we'd follow it up with a scary movie at my apartment after. We ended up getting back to my apartment and deciding that we both were really scary movie people, so we put in a Kevin James movie, and I actually really wanted to watch the movie, but at one point during the movie
partway through I shifted around, and she turned and she was so concerned. She's like, are you uncomfortable?
Are you uncomfortable, or what are you doing? And I just remember he laughed and he's like, no, and then he
I leaned in and I gave her a kiss.
It was so smooth. Yeah.
The first I love you, the first time we said I love you was...
Braden told me he loved me one weekend when we went to Yellowstone, and we hiked up to a waterfall, and
the hike we chose is called Union Falls. It's about 8 miles in, 8 miles out, and there's a beautiful waterfall, and there's also a swimming hole. It's called Ozul Pool.
So we got into the pool of water, we're swimming around, and
Kel came swimming up to me, and I asked her, do you like this? She's like, yeah.
I was like, yeah. And he said, do you love this?
So, do you love this?
And I said, yeah. And then he said, good.
It's like, good, because I love you.
And I was like, and it just caught me off guard. And yeah, I just hugged him, told him I loved him back.
Dating up until the engagement, a lot of people would say that we took our time dating. We dated for almost 2 years before we got engaged.
Which in Utah culture is so long, and we definitely felt the pressure from everybody to step up the pace.
We did a lot of fun things and things that I think helped build us as a couple. We went to Europe, we went to Moab, Mikkel went through graduate school during that time.
I think the entire 2 years were just spent just really solidifying who we were as a couple and as people. You know, I felt like our relationship was so real and deep, and we went through some really difficult experiences and some really positive experiences that led us to being able to decide to get married with our eyes wide open. But it was a fun 2 years. When we got engaged, I was ready to be engaged.
All right, our proposal story. We got engaged in Washington, D.C. I had a work trip out there, and Mikkel was going to come with me, and the plan was to spend a few days visiting friends and seeing the historical sites. And the part of the plan that I didn't tell her, though, is that I had already bought a ring and that I had worked with some friends for a proposal.
So one night we went to look at all the monuments with a few of his friends, and it was like midnight, so all the monuments were lit up. It was really beautiful, and I had been tipped off earlier in the day that he might propose because he had asked me what I was going to wear that night, which he's never asked me before, and I just thought it was a little suspicious. So we were walking around the monuments, and I remember looking at his pockets and just thinking, I don't see a ring box in those pockets, and I'm not sure that this is going to happen tonight.
Yeah, I had taken the ring box and I had wrapped it in my jacket. And when we got there and when we met my friends, I gave Bracken a big hug and I slid the ring into his hand in that moment, and he put it in his pocket. And then a few minutes later, he passed it to Dallin, who had a camera bag, and he was able to conceal it in the bag pretty well. So everything was going really well. We walked the monuments, like Mikkel said. It was getting really late. It was close to 1 in the morning when we made it to the Jefferson Memorial. And we got to the memorial and looked around, and Bracken told us a few things about the history of the monument. And as he was doing so, everybody else that was there left. And so we had the monument all to ourselves. And we go to the little veranda, the place where we could have a great view of the Washington Memorial and so forth. And we went to take some pictures. And we were taking some pictures where we were looking out upon the other monuments in the White House. And I asked Mikkel to hold still for just a second. And I took a couple steps back and got on my knee and told her to turn around.
Yeah, so I turned around to see him on his knee with the ring box open, and I said yes, and we kissed a little bit. Took
some pictures and enjoyed the rest of our trip in D.C. before coming home to family. What do we love most about each other? You go first.
So many things. I love that Braden is so kind to me, and he's so intelligent, and he's so real and authentic, and just like unapologetically himself, which has helped me feel like I can be vulnerable too. And he's seen the most real side of me that anyone has ever seen, and I love that he loves me for that very real version of who I am. And he's so funny. I feel like we spend a lot of our time just laughing, like at least half of our relationship is spent laughing and the other half is spent in good, deep conversation. And he's such an adventurer. I don't think there's ever anything I've asked him to do with me that he said no to.
Yeah. Where to start? There's so many things I love about Mikkel. I love how committed and diligent she is. Few people I know are able to keep and maintain a checklist and perform all the things on it the way Mikkel is able to. If Mikkel says something's going to be done, it gets done. I love that Mikkel loves me, that she's able to enjoy my silly jokes, that we're able to laugh, that we're able to spend, like she said, all of our time either in deep conversation or laughing and enjoying our time together. I love how authentic Mikkel is as well. How I feel we really do know each other, and that we're on the same page, and that as we continue to learn and grow and know each other better, that we're on the same team. I really love Mikkel. Okay.
All right, that's a wrap.
It's gonna
Stop!